Some hearts were trained to hide, even when they finally win. If this message speaks to you, don't just watch, subscribe, share, and help others understand what no one ever talks about. Some people genuinely don't understand why being celebrated feels uncomfortable for others. To most people, praise is a moment of joy, something to smile about, something to enjoy. But for those who fear attention and vulnerability, celebration doesn't feel like love. It feels like pressure. It feels like eyes watching, judging, measuring. The moment the spotlight lands on them, their heartbeat rises, their breathing changes, and the mind starts whispering, asterisk, what if they expect too much from me? What if I mess up? What if I don't deserve this? Asterisk, it's not that they dislike people. It's not even that they dislike the achievement. What they dislike is the feeling of being exposed. Celebration pulls them out of the safe shadows they've learned to live in. When people cheer for them, congratulate them, or give them attention, it places them in a position where every flaw feels visible, every insecurity feels louder, every compliment feels like a responsibility they must now live up to. Many of these individuals grew up believing that being unnoticed was safer. Maybe there was a time when attention meant criticism instead of praise. Maybe success once brought jealousy, comparison, or mockery. Maybe they learned early that if no one sees you, no one can hurt you. So when life changes and people start to notice their victories, the celebration doesn't feel like joy, it feels like danger. Even something as small as a compliment can trigger discomfort. Someone says, "You did amazing," and instead of feeling proud, the person feels the weight of expectations stacking on their shoulders. Suddenly, they are no longer just themselves. They become someone others are watching, someone others admire, someone others will now expect more from. And for a person who fears vulnerability, that is overwhelming. There's also a deeper psychological layer. Being celebrated forces a person to be present with their emotions. When others show love, support, or appreciation, it requires receiving it. But many people who fear celebration also struggle to receive love. They are used to taking care of others, blending in, or staying silent. Being appreciated disrupts that identity. It feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar can feel unsafe. So, when friends throw a party, or when a team acknowledges them, or when family members try to make them feel special, their natural instinct is to shrink. They might downplay their achievements, change the topic, joke their way out of the moment, or even disappear altogether. Not because they are ungrateful, but because the spotlight exposes parts of them they've spent years protecting. And there's an interesting thing. These same people are often the ones who love celebrating others. They cheer loudly for the people they care about. They support. They lift others up. But when attention comes back to them, they freeze. Because giving love feels safe. Receiving love feels dangerous. If you look closely, many of them are perfectionists. They don't want praise unless they believe they've earned it perfectly. If they think they made a mistake, even a small one, celebration feels dishonest. They worry that if people knew the full truth, they wouldn't deserve the recognition. This creates a painful cycle. They work hard, achieve something, people applaud, and instead of feeling proud, they feel like imposters. But here's the simple truth. Their discomfort doesn't mean they don't deserve celebration. It doesn't mean they are weak. It only means they've lived too long in environments where being seen was dangerous or being praised was rare. Some hearts learn to hide, even when they finally win. For many people, the idea of being celebrated sounds simple. Someone compliments you, recognizes your efforts, maybe gives you a moment of appreciation. But for those who carry low self-esteem or deep self-worth issues, celebration doesn't feel like a reward. It feels like a spotlight shining on a version of themselves they don't believe exists. When someone praises them, their mind doesn't say, "Thank you." It says, "They're exaggerating. They don't really know me. I don't deserve this." And instead of feeling happy, they feel uncomfortable, almost guilty for receiving something they don't believe they earned. This is where the psychology becomes silent and complicated. When a person's internal belief about themselves is negative, every positive word feels like a lie. Imagine growing up in a world where achievements were ignored, mistakes were highlighted, and nothing you did ever felt good enough. Imagine being taught that humility means shrinking yourself, never accepting compliments, and always giving credit to someone else. Eventually, the brain starts believing that praise is not meant for you. So when celebration arrives, the instinct is to step away from it. Some people become experts at hiding behind, "It's nothing," or "Anyone could have done it," or "I just got lucky." They don't minimize their success to be humble. They minimize it because they genuinely believe it wasn't special, even when they work harder than others, even when they overcome obstacles, even when they sacrifice and struggle. Their mind still whispers, "Not enough." So, how can a celebration feel good when you're convinced you're undeserving of it? There's another layer. People with low self-worth often rely on external validation, but they don't trust it. They crave approval, yet feel uncomfortable when they receive it. It creates a painful contradiction. They want to be seen, but not too much. They want to be appreciated, but not celebrated. They want to matter, but they don't want attention. Their self-perception becomes a cage built out of old wounds and quiet insecurities. And here's the heartbreaking part. Many of them are incredibly talented, kind, hardworking people. They lift others. They encourage others. They celebrate others. But when love, praise, or recognition comes toward them, they flinch like someone who's been hit before. They don't know how to receive good things because life didn't teach them how. Some learned that attention is dangerous. Others learned that praise comes with expectations. And many learned that the safest way to live is to stay invisible. It gets even deeper when someone's identity is built around being the background person. Maybe they grew up taking care of everyone else. Maybe they were the responsible one, the quiet one, the unnoticed one. Being celebrated feels strange because it goes against the role they've spent years playing. And identity is powerful when someone's sense of self is built on being small. The idea of being seen feels threatening, even when it's positive. In their minds, celebration feels like being lifted onto a pedestal that could break at any moment. If people applaud them today, will those same people judge them tomorrow? If people see them as someone worthy, what happens when they make a mistake? When you don't think highly of yourself, praise feels temporary. It feels risky. It feels like borrowed light that can easily be taken away. But the truth is simple and painful. They are not uncomfortable because they are unworthy. They are uncomfortable because they never learned how to believe they were worthy in the first place. Some hearts struggle to receive love, not because it isn't offered, but because they were never taught they deserve it. Some people don't fear celebration because of the moment itself. They fear what celebrations remind them of. For many, there is a history behind their discomfort, a past that taught them attention is risky, not rewarding. Childhood, school, relationships, family environments. These are the places where we first learn whether being seen is safe or dangerous. And for those who carry emotional wounds, celebration doesn't feel like joy. It feels like a trigger. Maybe they grew up in a home where achievements didn't matter. No matter how well they performed, no one clapped, no one noticed, and no one cared. When a child learns that being good still brings nothing, they stop expecting recognition. Later in life, when people try to celebrate them, they don't know how to react. It feels unfamiliar, almost uncomfortable, the same way a person flinches when offered kindness after a lifetime of silence. For some, the opposite happened. Being noticed brought negativity. Maybe their success caused jealousy. Maybe siblings, classmates, or relatives mocked them, called them show-offs, or made them feel guilty for being talented. When celebration is followed by punishment, the brain forms a brain beam. Connection. Attention leads to pain. So when someone tries to praise them now, they instinctively shut down, pull back, or disappear. There are also people who grew up in environments full of criticism. Nothing was ever enough. Even victories were followed by, "You could have done better." Compliments were rare. but corrections were constant. When that becomes normal, praise feels suspicious. Celebration feels like a trick. They wait for the negativity that always used to follow. It's not that they can't accept love, they simply don't trust that it's real. Some people were raised to believe that showing pride makes you arrogant. They were taught to stay small, stay quiet, stay humble. Celebration was something other people received, not them. So when someone finally appreciates them, they shrink, not because they dislike the moment, but because they were trained to believe they don't belong in it. Trauma does not always come from something dramatic. Sometimes it comes from years of emotional neglect. When no one claps for you long enough, you stop expecting claps at all. For others, trauma is heavier. Maybe their childhood or relationships involved emotional abuse, manipulation, or toxic control. People who were shamed, embarrassed, or belittled in front of others often grow up fearing that any spotlight will bring humiliation again. And then, there are people who never learn to celebrate themselves. They only learn to survive. Their focus wasn't on joy, praise, or recognition, it was on coping, enduring, and moving quietly through life. When survival becomes normal, celebration feels unnecessary, even uncomfortable. They don't know how to hold happiness because they spent too long holding pain. The interesting thing is, trauma often teaches people to be invisible, to keep their heads down, to avoid attention, to stay safe. When someone claps for them now, that invisibility is broken, and part of them panics. They aren't avoiding celebration because they are ungrateful. They are avoiding it because being seen once hurt them. But here's the most important truth. Even if trauma taught them to hide, life can still teach them to shine. Some people just need time, patience, and gentle reminders that the world is not always like the past. Some hearts avoid celebration not because they are afraid of joy, but because they are still healing from the last time they were seen. For some people, celebration isn't uncomfortable because of the moment. It's uncomfortable because of what comes after. When others recognize them, applaud them, or treat them like someone special, it creates a silent pressure they never asked for. Suddenly, there are expectations. Suddenly, people are watching. Suddenly, their success becomes something they are supposed to repeat, maintain, or improve. And the fear of disappointing others becomes louder than the joy of being appreciated. This is why many people do everything possible to avoid being celebrated. They don't want the spotlight, not because they dislike happiness, but because attention creates responsibility. Once others see them as capable, strong, talented, or special, they feel like they must keep proving it again and again. And for someone already struggling with pressure, that is exhausting. Some people have spent their whole lives being hard on themselves. They carry invisible standards that no one else can see. They push themselves more than anyone else ever could. So when someone celebrates them, it intensifies the weight they already feel inside. They start thinking, what if I can't stay this good? What if this was the best I'll ever be? What if I let everyone down? Instead of enjoying the moment, they begin forecasting their own failure. There's also a quiet fear of losing the love that celebration brings. People often act kinder, warmer, and more supportive towards someone who is successful. So a person who is celebrated worries, if I stop succeeding, will these people still care about me? The celebration becomes a reminder that affection and recognition might disappear if they don't keep performing. It turns joy into pressure. And then, there are those who grew up in homes where perfection was expected. Maybe they were always compared to others. Maybe praise only came when they exceeded the higher standard. Maybe love was conditional, only given when they performed well. For someone like that, celebration feels like a contract. It's not a moment of happiness. It's a promise they must now fulfill. If they fail, they won't just disappoint themselves. They'll disappoint everyone who believed in them. Some people also fear jealousy, resentment, or sabotage from others. Celebration brings attention, and attention can bring critics. The moment someone is recognized, they become a target for comparison. People start watching their every move, waiting to see if they fall. A person who has experienced betrayal, envy, or judgment in the past learns that staying silent is safer than shining too brightly. And sometimes, the biggest fear isn't failing others, it's failing themselves. When people are celebrated, they see a version of themselves they wish they could always be. The pressure to live up to it becomes overwhelming. They don't want to break hearts. They don't want to disappoint people who believe in them. They don't want to watch admiration turn into silence or respect turn into criticism. So they keep their victories small. They downplay compliments. They hide their achievements. Not because they lack confidence, but because they are terrified of what celebration demands. They would rather be quietly great than loudly praised. They would rather succeed in peace than perform under pressure. But the truth is simple. They don't avoid celebration because they are weak. They avoid it because they care too deeply. Their fear of disappointing others is proof that their intentions are pure. Their heart is not afraid of winning. It is afraid of letting anyone down. Some hearts reject the spotlight, not because they can't shine, but because they're terrified of failing the people who believe in their light. Some people don't hate celebration. They just don't know how to exist in a world that finally sees them. They're not cold, ungrateful, or distant. They're simply carrying stories their confidence hasn't healed from yet. Not everyone needs a loud party or a spotlight. Some hearts only need gentle recognition and people who understand that even soft applause can feel overwhelming. So when someone hides from the attention that others think is harmless, don't judge them, just see them, support them, stay beside them. Because the people who struggle to receive love are often the ones who deserve it most.